We had an amazing test match between Pakistan and South Africa in Rawalpindi, with both teams playing their hearts out. Eventually, the hosts came out to be victors with a thorough team performance. We shall go over the performance in depth. The reason that we did not rush this video was that we wanted to cover all the aspects and what this performance means for the future. Stay tuned. Rawalpindi's pitch has traditionally been one that offers assistance to both the batsman and the bowler, whoever works harder. Hanif Mohammad, the legendary Pakistan batsman, was the first person to get this pitch laid, and he was one of the greatest experts Pakistan has had on the subject. Ever since, Rawalpindi's pitch has been useful for seamers and for batsmen. However, spinners never really have had much of a say in the proceedings, and we saw the same in this test match as well. The seamers from Pakistan and the seamers from South Africa, as well as the Protean finger spinners, did really well. Pakistani spinners, on the other hand, could not deliver what was expected of them, but they certainly did a very good holding job. The pitch had its ups and downs. On the third evening, it seemed like it will become a minefield on the fourth and fifth day. However, it settled down unexpectedly, and that was the unexpected twist that actually added a lot of spikes to this match. Please do like and share our videos and subscribe to our channel. It only takes a second. Press the red button down there that says subscribe. Our subscribers are now close to 300, and during the month of February, I'd really like to achieve 500 subscribers. We need your help for this purpose, so please share the video and let people know about us. Thank you. Your support means a lot to us. From South Africa's point of view, Nokia, Keshav Maharaj and Linda all bowled really well. They ensured that Pakistan never really ran away with the match, although in the third innings Pakistan was able to score maybe another 60-70 runs that South Africa did not want, and as the pitch eased out, those runs proved to be crucial at the end of the match. Their batsmen also had a decent day. Overall, Quinton de Kock was a bit of a disappointment. Faf du Plessis also could not live up to the expectations. Dean Elgar generally did well, but his impact on this match was minimal. Aiden Markram got a century in the second innings, and he had a pretty decent outing in the first one as well. Van Dusen had a duck in the first innings, but he actually scored really well in the second one. Temba Bavuma, who was quite lucky in the first innings with a dropped catch and a review that should have been taken for the LBW, was able to score in both innings, and his innings were quite crucial in keeping South Africa afloat. There was some resistance from the lower order as well, but that wasn't enough. Overall, South Africa played really well. They had a relatively inexperienced side on paper, although there were some big names in there. I think it were the younger players who did better compared with the old rear guard. Yasir Shah and Noman Ali bowled really well in the Karachi Test match. However, as far as wicket taking is concerned, their impact was minimal in this match. They did not pick up enough wickets. Noman Ali in the second innings in particular looked a bit lax, and he was giving away runs, something that actually provided some leeway to the South Africans. However, overall they did really well in the series, considering their contributions with the bat in this test match. They were crucial, because these two could have tried to hit it out and maybe get 10-12 runs each. Instead, they decided to bat for as long as possible, and provided Mohammad Rizwan with the support he needed to get Pakistan to a lead of 370. So a big round of applause for them on that. Mohammad Rizwan, Pakistan's wicketkeeper, is proving to be a real asset. He's consistent with the bat, and he does well with the gloves. And his constant chirping reminds us of Moin Khan. I think Rizwan has a great future at test level. He can really do well in ODIs and T20s as well. Hassan Ali came back to the Pakistani team after a long injury layoff, and boy did he perform. Now, he had done really well when it came to the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy, and people were expecting good things. But given his history of fitness, it was a concern for a lot of people, including myself. However, his 2 5-4s in the second test match really proved the decision to be an excellent one. We really hope that Hassan Ali can perform consistently, and more importantly, he can maintain his fitness. His batting prowess recently in the domestic cricket also indicate that he can be a useful tail ender for the Pakistani cricket team. Pakistani openers did not really deliver and live up to the expectation during this series. Imran Butt was having his debut matches and he did reasonably well as far as the fielder is concerned. In fact, he might be a great slip fielder for the future. However, he couldn't get many runs. Abid Ali, I think, is a greater concern because he is a well-settled batsman and he's got all the ability. However, his performance in England tour wasn't that good. His performance in New Zealand was below par, and one was hoping that even if he struggles, he'll at least get a scratchy 50 or 2, maybe 100, and cement his place back in the team. Pakistan's middle and lower middle order did really well during this series. Azhar Ali got some runs in the first test match, but he wasn't very productive in the second one. We hope that he can find a consistent form. Babar Azam was pretty fantastic in the first innings of the second test match, got Pakistan out of a hole and performed really well in general. His performance in the first match was a bit of a downer. His second innings dismissal is also a little bit concerning, considering that he appears to have a problem with left arm finger spinners. Keshav Maharaj really excellently exploited that. Now, one of our friends, Aurangzeb, who is a regular on the show, mentioned a bit of tweak in his technique recently during one of our conversations, where he actually said that he appears to be staying lower now against the spinner, which will help him. Something that comes from the batting coach Yunus Khan, and hopefully that will help him against the sliders and the dippers from the left arm spinners. Raheem Ashraf has been quite a revelation during this test series and the series before that. I always believed that this guy had a lot of talent. Even on his debut match against Ireland and then in England, he played 2 back-to-back crucial innings. Now, a bit of slump in form was there afterwards, but really there was never any real reason for dropping him from the test team. Now that he's performing again, he appears to be someone who will play for a long period. Now, he has got hard hands, there's no doubt about it. There are certain things in his technique that need to be improved. Otherwise, on faster pitches and with quicker bowlers, he might be edging more towards the slips and the gully. But for now, he appears to be improving. He probably needs to work a little bit more on his footwork, but that will come with time. He also needs to make sure that he remains good with the ball. Now, this bowler is someone that I think will really thrive in seaming conditions, and one expected him to have a greater role in Rawalpindi with the ball. However, the captain did not bowl him enough, in my opinion, to really have an impact. Fawad Alam has been in rich vein of form after his return to Pakistani team and his 100 in New Zealand, and he played a crucial part in Pakistan's victory in the Karachi Test match against South Africa. He had a crucial partnership in the first innings against South Africa and the second innings, and I think he's someone that the team can rely on. It is important that he continues to play like this, and the selectors continue to stick with him. He's a rare talent. You don't get these talents every day. So, and well, talent is there, but he's the hard-working kind of talent. So he's someone who can actually score runs, who can actually field really well. I think he can actually be very useful with the ball as well. If memory serves me right, he actually picked up 3 wickets against England in one of the matches in the previous tour. So he is someone who can be relied upon. He is a long-term test prospect even at this point in time. With his fitness level and his commitment, I don't see him going away for another 5 years. Shaheen Afridi did quite well during the series. He picked up a few wickets. He picked up a 4-4 in the final innings of the match and basically cleaned up the tail real quick, which was crucial. So I think he's a great prospect for the future. He has been proving himself to be a very useful fast bowler, and the way he bowled in that second innings in Rawalpindi, I think that really meant a lot. He bowled his heart out. He kept his pace going up, and Hassan Ali and Shaheen Afridi in partnership, really at a point where South Africa was 240 for 3 and bowling them out for 270, these two bowled brilliantly. They bowled their hearts out and they made sure that Pakistan won the match. A special shout out to Hassan Ali on getting the 10 wicket haul. That hasn't been done for a decade and a half by a Pakistani fast bowler. One of the factors is there were a lot of 8 wickets and 9 wicket hauls, plus some really high quality spinners that were taking all the wickets in places like Dubai and Abu Dhabi, where Pakistan was primarily playing. You had somebody like Abdur Rahman and Saeed Ismail in partnership. Then you had Yasir Shah, who was picking up a lot of 10 wicket hauls. So the quick bowlers did not have that much of an opportunity as well, but it's good to see them getting back into the rhythm and becoming the potent threat they always were for Pakistan. Pakistan's and South Africa's T20 series is about to start, and we expect a really interesting competition. We'll discuss the Pakistani T20 team and some issues that we find with it in our next episode before the match begins. So we hope to catch you there. And for now, let's celebrate the victory and enjoy the good times.